I welcome you, sir. Participants, we are looking forward on your
Thank
active
you.
participation. I ensure the session will be profitable and fruitful for everyone present here. Welcome you one and all. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time to our guest speaker, Dr. S. Karpasamy, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for your nice introduction about me.
Thank you,
And
sir.
before going to start, it is great pleasure for me to be a part of STTP, organized by FX Indian College and their management. And today it is about Quantum GIS. It's open source software, hands-on training. So it is more about uh, training on the software instead of talking in theoretical aspect. And I don't know the audience range of experience in quantum GIS, but since this is the first phase of STTP, and I have planned to start with a basic level of QAJS practice session. So in the third phase, we are planning to have some more experienced and detailed presentation will be there. I mean to say practical session will be there in the third phase. So that is going to happen on maybe October. So this is going to be a basic one, and whatever the things it is for basic learners. So it is going to be very useful. Those who are not having any experience in quantum GIS, for them it is going to be very helpful. And from this session, you will come to know how to utilize the GIS software for map making. So this is a basic idea behind this training session. So after completing this session, we will come to know how to prepare map with open source data sets or available data sets. And so these are the contents. So slides will be for another 10 minutes. Then we'll go directly to the software session. This is just for give a rough idea. So what is there in QGIS software, and so that you will have a better idea before going to software training or practices. And let us start with why QGIS, Quantum GIS. Of course, you all know that there are many open source software as far as GIS concerned. GraphJS, UTIC, SVG. There are many other software, but still QGIS is very popular among them. The reason why, because it is used by many users all over the world, since it is free of cost. And not only that, there are many reasons behind the QGIS is emerged very fastly, drastically. There are many reasons, and some of the reasons we are going to discuss here. And the second thing is about tools and their components. I mean to say, in order to have a rough idea about what are the tools are available. Of course, this is basic information as far as any software concerned. Whatever the softwares you will go through, these are the basic elements you can see. And there are some additional interesting components also there as far as QGIS is concerned. And that is not available with proprietary software, but for at some extents we cannot use it actually. That is a thing we are differing with QGIS. And map making, that is the final output we are going to produce by using QGIS. That's what we are going to see in the demo session. And let me start with why QGIS. These are the 5 reasons as far as my opinion, and as far as Open Spatial Consortium concern also. So Open Geospatial Consortium, it is OGC. So they have responsible for development of QGIS. So of course you all know that it is a free software, and if you have the internet, and you can download the software in any website from QGIS belongs to that. And it is it's a cross platform. That means you can work with any platform, whether it's operating system is not at all a matter for that. So you can work with any kind of platform. That is a very important essential thing which is not having with other proprietary software sometime. And nowadays even they are planning to bring them into the Android application also, but there is a compatibility issues. So I guess in a very short while it is going to be happen. So you can utilize our QGIS in the Android platform. That is a very interesting thing in the future. The use of open source GIS is growing. That is very important because not only the students, academicians are using this software, even companies, startup companies, the company which is growing, they are started to use because when you're going to buy a software for a license, it is costing you much. So in that case, the lot of startup companies have started to utilize the QGIS software. And other and very interesting thing about QGIS is you can find n number of tutorials for QGIS that which is not easy. Basically, if you take Crash GIS, I don't think so. You have n number of tutorials, whereas in the case of QGIS, you will have many more tutorials and with video tutorials. So it is easy for the person who is interested to learn. They can learn from the internet source itself. That is a very important thing. And resume builders, that is nothing but the job opportunity in open source software. As I said earlier, due to the high cost of proprietary software, the people are going to use open source software. So job opportunity also very essential thing as per the QGIS concern. So these are the 5 important things I would like to discuss before going to enter into the practical session. And these are the main reasons we are the people are using the QGIS. So this license, general public license, this is there is no cost, so you can utilize this license. And the thing is, if you are good in developing the plugins and you are also part of QGIS, even one of our students, they have developed a tool for densifying the control points. That means they have collected the ground control point by using total stations, and with the help of 10 points, it can be densified 100 or thousands of points based on the area extent we are going to use. And this is also they I think incorporated. This is same like what we are having it in FishNet in ArcGIS software. The same application the tool is doing for us. And we have utilized that also in the case of slope stability study. And we have captured some of the points nearby the river Tamarabani river basin. And due to the time constraint and due to the instrument constraints, we have captured very less number of points. So after utilizing these tools, we have densified that point for generating the slope map. So this is one of the things special about the QGIS. As I said that, so you can use Linux machines or a Mac or whatever be the machines or platform. That's not a problem. So you can work with the QGIS software. That is very important thing. And as I said earlier, so it is going to be soon. You are going to utilize QGIS software for Android platform. So that is also one of the interesting thing about QGIS. If you look at that, this QGIS, it's almost all over the world. If you take GeoMedia, generally GeoMedia, it is a GIS software. It is predominantly used in European countries, but GeoMedia, we are not using it. Especially Asian sites, Asian countries, we are not using GeoMedia for personal. We are more with the ArcGIS product. But if you look at QGIS, it's almost all over the world. It is spreaded. That is a very important points needs to consider how the QGIS is grown very fastly just because of their capability to perform many tasks with of course that we cannot say this is not user friendly. There are many things we need to do some like customizations and some additional built-in function needs to be incorporated. But still, the students and researchers are very much interested in using QGIS just because of their capability in solving many problems related to environmental, socio-economical related studies. So that's the reason it is growing fast. So if you look at the map, you can see that how much it has spread all over the world. And tutorial, as I said, so plenty of QGIS tutorial that is come from different people, and those who are interested, they can be a part of QGIS. They can develop their tutorial, or they can develop the plugin and plugin for different operations and algorithms. Anything you want, you can incorporate with the QGIS. So because the code is, you can modify the code. Master code also can be modified and incorporate your information along with that existing algorithms. So that is a very essential about that. If you look at that QGIS tutorial for all the subjects, you see the 3D map. If you take a 3D map in ArcGIS, we use 3D Analyst. If you're not having any license, then we cannot work with 3D Analyst. Or ArcScene we work with 3D map. But in the case of QGIS, this is in a single component. As a single system, you have everything. So that is a very important thing. And in addition to that, you can use QGIS for web publishing. Actually, we can publish product in the web related area by using quantum GIS based databases or QGIS based tools available in the QGIS. So there are many more versions are there as far as the QGIS concerned. But what I'm going to show it here is 2.81, I think. So that's what we're going to show today class. As I said, Resume Builder, it was started 1999, but you look at January 2012, but still it is going on up. So this is the old one, but still nowadays the trend is even more bigger than this. And now we are moving into tools and their components. So this is how the QGIS looks. And if you look at that, this is a very basic project. Okay, you can create your own project, new project, or you can open the existing project. And the project session, you will have a different, you can export them in a different format and edit. You can edit your data sets, whether it's a point, polygon, line. That's what you might hear these words in the previous session, vector data and raster data. And we have the tool for processing vector and raster data here. And that is shown in vector and raster. And one more very quite interesting thing is plugins. That means it is same thing like extensions. So you can bring many plugin as far as your application concern, as far as your requirement concern. There are many plugins in QGIS software. Even you can develop your own plugins. That's what I intended to say in the two slides back. And you can develop your own plugins and you can incorporate with QGIS if you are good in algorithm and development programming as a programmer. And database, this is you can work with database like in ArcGIS. You can work with Oracle DBase. It is same thing with database, but here you can work with MySQL. So, for example, if you have a huge amount of data in a Excel or in any database, and you can convert them into geospatial data. Even only thing is you're supposed to have a coordinate system for that, or not coordinate system. You have to have the coordinates. So if you have the coordinates, with the help of database, you can connect them as a database, and finally you can bring them into QGIS. So maybe probably next class, next session, I mean to say sixth session, I'll be showing that how to utilize MySQL and how to convert MySQL into save file. That we'll be seeing in session 6. That means tomorrow, same time. And web, it is talking about like open layers, open layer plugins. For example, Google Earth, you can connect with the Google Earth, and there are many open layers are there as far as our geospatial world concerned. So most of the open plugins are connected with the web, so you can trap your layer with the open layer data. For example, Google layer can be incorporated with your vector data, so that it's just for field verifications. Sometimes you cannot go to the field for doing any field verifications. In that case, you can utilize open layer data. If it is accurate enough for your study, then in that case we can utilize open layer plugin. So that is very interesting thing about that. So bringing the open layer plugin, so that this additional tools, you cannot see it in the ArcGIS ArcMap. I'm talking about ArcMap. Okay, you have a globe, so you can work if you work with the globe in ArcGIS, then you can do the same process. But this one, it's in the single QGIS software itself. And SCP, semi-automatic classification algorithm. This is more about working with satellite data. For example, Landsat, MODIS, Sentinel data. This is very even I work with this SCP, semi-automatic classification for mineral explorations. For example, I was trying to open Sentinel data, Sentinel 2 for multispectral data in NV software. I faced some problems. So then I thought of moving into QGIS. So I was started to learn QGIS. I have been learning QGIS for a long time, but I was started to learn QGIS in that aspect. So while I was going to prepare the mineral related changes, in that case, I prefer to go for QGIS. So SCP, this is more with the satellite data and satellite data processing. And you can download the data directly from the server, and you can fix some pre-processing. And the final output you'll get after doing the pre-processing. So downloading, pre-processing can be carried out simultaneously in the case of SCP, and processing and help. So this is about overall view about the QGIS and their tools. As I said, these are some additional explanations in order to have a better idea. So as I said earlier, so QGIS, if you look at the project, and you can export in a different way, DXF export. So DXF is a drawing exchange file. So when I'm talking about AutoCAD, there is a huge difference between the AutoCAD and ArcGIS SafeFile product. For example, DXF and SafeFile. In the case of DXF, you cannot store the attribute data. So what do you mean by attribute data? So this is information about the future. For example, you are in a different world. You have the name and your locations. And so your location is a descriptions, location description. For example, I am from Thuthukudi. So my place, if I am Karupaswamy Solamuthu, description is Thuthukudi. So Thuthukudi is a like attribute information about the future, information about the locations. So this can be added in the GIS software or GIS system, whereas in the case of AutoCAD DXF, you cannot do that. So when you don't add the attribute data with your features, so this cannot be go further for the processing, like attribute analysis, or bringing into the some analysis system to make a final decision from the sort of combination of the layers. So this is a very big advantages of ArcGIS compared to other drafting software, whether it is MicroStation, whether it's AutoCAD, whatever may be the software, the attribute data is missing with other software, whereas in GIS you have the attribute data. And what is the use of exporting data from DXF? I mean, you do the drafting in AutoCAD and bring them into GIS for adding the attribute data. So that is well and good. And a new print composer, that is for making the layout for your final output. For example, you prepare the map, and map always contains many information like title, your north arrow, and legend, and symbols, and scale bar, and there are many details needs to be incorporated with the map. So this can be finally printed as a layout, so like map layout. So this can be done by using new print composer in the project session. And edit, of course, this is something like editor in ArcGIS. You do you can trim the features, copy the features, paste features, and split the features. It is same like AutoCAD. AutoCAD command you do with a command in AutoCAD. Here you have the graphical user interface, so you can work with that directly. And view, again, it is same thing, and nothing more than that. It is zoom in, zoom out, identify the features. What is the feature information? If you want to know, then you can use identify features. And these are some of the components from different tools. And layer, And layer is quite interesting for me because if you look at add layer, this is something like R catalog. You can create your own layer in R catalog, like save file and GDB, and anything can be added in R catalog in ArcGIS. History product here, you create layer, new save file, anything you want you can add. And add layer, this is something interesting for me because you can add a WMS web map service, WFS web future service, and WCS web coverage service, and so on. So because the web map service is nothing but you're publishing your georeference image in the web-based system. So you can incorporate, you can add this information from the someone who is creating the web map service and web coverage service for you. So you can link that system to utilize their product in our QGIS in your local system. So that is a very interesting thing as far as ad layer concerns. And if you look at the settings, CRS, this is a coordinate reference system. This is something like a projection transformation or GIS. So coordinate reference system, that is, for example, you collect the data with the help of totalization or collect the data with the help of any dummy level. So these are all not reference data. You collect them in arbitrarily. So you can bring them into GIS, and with the help of like a well-defined control point, growth control point collected from the field or from the existing map, you can convert them into the real system. So otherwise, you can reference, a coordinate reference system can be given to that particular data. And also, sometime when you're working with decimal degree, like geographical coordinate system, there you work with the latitude and longitude. So latitude and longitude, 1 degree is nearly 110 kilometers. So in that case, what you want to calculate the area, so you cannot calculate the area in geographical coordinate system. So you supposed to convert them or project them into the like a projected system. So something related to that. And style manager, so this is going to be taken by tomorrow class. So they will be when you prepare the data, especially thematic layers. For example, you will give the different like symbology and style for the data sets. So that is very essential as per the cartography concern. As a cartography expert, you know what is the color should be used for which object. For example, water body, without thinking, you are using blue color. Why? Because we are in day-to-day life, we are seeing as a water body in a blue in color. So if you use blue, the people start to think, okay, this is water body. So you have the systematic protocol for you utilizing the style and symbols for a particular object. As a cartographic person, they are very keen about that, and style manager is talking something related to that. And plugins, so there is option manage and install plugins. So there are many extensions can be installed. This is something like related to the extension in ArcGIS. So you can install plugins and you can work with the plugins based on that. And database, DB manager, that's what I said. I work with the DB manager, especially for PostGIS. So we developed the data in SQL, and we finally brought them in PostGIS and visualize the data in QGIS save file format. And vector, again the same. There are many vector data and vector data processing is there, and you process a point line polygon like buffering and interpolations and spatial analysis tools for understanding measuring the distances or whatever. Maybe you are going for spatial query. So this all comes under the category of vector data processing. And if you look at OpenStreetMap, so as I said, so you can add OpenStreetMap with your vector data you captured. So I will show it in the practical session also. And web open layer plugin. So here you can find many raster data. So you know the difference between the vector data and raster data. So vector is a point line polygon, raster is made of pixels. So this is a difference between the vector and rasters. In the case of raster, you have many product. In the tool concern, there are many tools are there as per the raster concerns. So that you will do it in the 5th day of your workshop and the hands-on training. And Dr. Suresh is going to take that, georeferencing your data. And SCP, it is for semi-automatic classification algorithm, and there are many things here. You work with the satellite image. You look at our pre-processing, post-processing, download the images. Here, one thing I would like to share with you is you can download the data and you can pre-process the data simultaneously. For example, I want to collect the time series data for any change detection studies. In that case, I can download the data from Sentinel and I can fix the pre-processing steps. So it is downloading and simultaneously doing a pre-processing for you. So that is a very essential about a SCP functionality. And band set, of course, you can do any band ratio like normalized difference vegetation index and normalized difference water index, and you can go for like layer stacking. Layer stacking it is same thing like band set. So you combine the data, combine the band, spectral band. So using this tool. And finally, toolbox. It is same like RPX toolbox and graphical modeler. That means you work with builder in ArcGIS actually. So these are the tools I like to share with you. And layer, there are some. Okay, I don't take your more time, but it is very less time because I for a better understanding. So these are the different services we can incorporate with in the layer tool. So web map service, web coverage service, web feature service, and KML, GML, and SLT. So style layer descriptor. So these are the things we can do with the layer tools. So that means you can link the URL from different sources, and you can bring the data sources from different services. For example, USGS services or data from USA, if they are freely or if they have developed the web services or web map services for us, then we can utilize that information in our QGIS to use these data sets. Of course, this is open source consortium developed informations, and I mean exchange the geographical data. So then it is web feature service. Web map service is something like you publish the georeference image in the hypertext transfer protocol request. So you give the request and it gives the information. You give the request as coordinates, and you sometimes you get them as a image actually in the web map services. And web coverage services, it's a multi-dimensional coverage data for access over the internet. So we can access this data set over the internet. So for that, we are utilizing QGIS as a link as an intermediator for that. And tools and the components, ERS coordinated reference systems. And this is how you are transferring or how you are converting one system to other system, other coordinate system. For example, geographical coordinate system into projected coordinate system. And this can be done by using coordinate reference system tools available in the settings. And vector, this is one of the important things I want to discuss. DXF to save file. So in the vector tool, you can have the option to develop, convert DXF to save file. And sometimes we needed this tool. If you are in a company, they will have the drafting software as well as the analyzing software. That case, what they will do, they capture the information in AutoCAD or MicroStation. So they need to convert this because the drafting with the help of AutoCAD and MicroStation is very faster. So that case, they will go with that, and finally they will bring it to the save. GIS for the attribute analysis. And geoprocessing, vector analysis. There are many tools are there, and as I said that here PostGIS, that's what we'll be seeing this one tomorrow, how to bring the database data into QGIS with the help of PostGRA SQL. And semi-automatic classification, this is about satellite data processing. As I said earlier, you can work with the Landsat, MODIS data, Sentinel data. So for that, you're supposed to have this plugin, SCP plugin. And that's all about the presentation consent. So now I'll move into the software consent. So I will share again the software with you. Yeah, finally software. So can you see the window?
Yes.
Can you see the software? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. So this is a software we are going to use for map making. And so what is the basic requirement for any software or any GIS related software? So we need to have a base map. Okay. So base map, so that is the basic requirement. So that we used to call them as a study area. And how to prepare the study area. So that is the main point. Generally, what we will do for preparing the base map, we will use the topo sheet, and we will trace our study area from the topo sheets. So what we will be doing that topo sheet, we will bring the topo sheet in ArcGIS software, and we will georeference them by using existing control points. Once the georeference is done, then we'll go for tracing our study area. That means to say base map. But nowadays, the base maps are available in a different way. We can download the base map from different aspects as far as our study area concerned. Even as far as India concerned, we have a huge volume of archives in National Remote Sensing Center in Bangalore or Hyderabad. So you can use different thematic layers, and they have a different base map also. You can download it for free of cost at certain extent. So you don't need to do the old procedures like using toposheet to trace your base map. Of course, some cases, if you modify your base map, in that case you're supposed to have um, your own data. You need to do it from the toposheet. Otherwise, you can do it. You can download the data directly from the um, I don't know whether it is available in USGS, but as far as India concerned, we have it in National Remote Sensing Center. So base map is a basic thing. As I said, this can be created from different sources. The second thing is what kind of application we are going for. For example, I want to study about the landslide. I want to study about the landslide or soil erosion or land suitability analysis for urban development. Otherwise, suitability analysis for dumping your waste. Let us take this topic, suitability analysis for dumping your waste. So this is the topic. This is a study I want to do, because this is comes under the category of solid waste management. So most of the civil engineers are exposed with that. So we'll take this one. And we have the base map. And what are the other data we supposed to have to carry out this solid waste disposal management or identifying the suitable site for solid waste disposal? When you take about this subject, some of the component, like some of the, you don't use the word component, we can use a word thematic layer. For example, um, I want to dump my waste where you don't have any water bodies. Because if you dump your waste in water bodies, after a few years, the water body will contaminate due to the percolation of this all solid waste. That's what happened in metropolitan cities. Even Chennai, all the metropolitan cities got affected just because they dumped the waste in the water bodies. So water body is one of the thematic layer. So you need to identify the water bodies. So that case, you should not dump your waste on the water body. The second thing is, like, you should not nearby any residential area, because this will spread the disease to that people, those who are living around that area. So that should not have any residential area. That means it's a land use map. So the first thematic layer is water bodies. Second is a land use map. And the third you can consider, it should be near by any road accessibility. At least you have the transportation facility, not transportation facility. You should supposed to have the roads to access that site. So road is the third thematic layer. and you can take the water level and water depth, and these are the additional component you can take them as a thematic layer for going for. So you, with the help of this base map, you have to prepare different thematic layer, and some thematic layer directly as a raster, some thematic layer, for example, water level. So water level is not a map, it is a statistical information. Depth of water, depth of what is the depth level in the particular well. So this is a statistical information. You look at here, we are integrating different data sources in GIS. That is a very important definition for GIS. We are incorporating the data from different sources, and we are integrating different data sources. We have incorporated the vector data, we have incorporated the raster data, we have incorporated the non-spatial data. I mean to that, like the water level. Of course, that is not a non-spatial. This is spatial data. If you add the information, if you add the locations. So the thing is, statistical data and vector data, raster data can be incorporated into GIS. That is a very essential part. So when you go for any project, you identify the problem. All the problem is going to be input for your study. For example, as I said here, suitable location for solid waste disposal. So water body, residential, these are all identified problems. You should not waste your dump in the residential area. You should not dump in the water body. So these are the problem. If you dump them, then it is a problem. So you can consider them. Even you can include the school. So that comes under the category of land use. Whatever the project you are going to do, all the problem is going to be your input. So all the input is going to be your thematic layers. This is a basic concept behind any project. So if you consider this thing, then you can go with this work very easily. Now, what is our requirement? Map making. So for that, we need to have the base map. So that's what I am linking with this one. So you're supposed to go the base map. And of course, you know what you mean by map. So it's a graphical representation of geographical features with integration of legend, symbols, and scale bar and north arrow. So this is a basic requirement. Okay. So we are going to create the map. So as I said earlier, we need to have the base map. So where we'll get the base map? One thing is we need to have the base map from the existing data. Otherwise, we can bring them from the available sources from the internet. So in that case, web map service or web future service, we can bring the data from web future service. So that is the point. I have the data. That means, but I want to show you how to bring the data from the web future service. So where to go? That is a point. As I said earlier, that is an interesting point as about the vector. So there is a layer. So we are going to add the web future service. So in the layers, in the layer tool, you have the add layer. So you can add your vector layer. You can add your raster layer. There are different layers are there. So without making any confusions, let me start with the existing data. Okay. Let me start with the existing data. Then I will show you how to add, because if there is problem in slow connectivity, then you will not see our data. So let me start with the add layer, add vector layer. Layer, go to layer, add layer and add vector layer. So vector layer, you know, this is point line polygon. It is not necessarily only the point or only the line, or it can be combination of all. So I kept the data. And this, actually, I collected this data from the QGIS website, from the QGIS website. Anyway, I'm going to show you the how to bring web future service also. But this is the initial idea how to do that. Then after completing this exercise, I will show you how you can bring the web future service and web map service. So this is country. I am adding this information. Open. So this is the country data. This is not my data. This is collected from QGIS website. Okay. So this is the spatial data. Why it is spatial data? It is representing by the coordinates. You can see the coordinate in the down. So this is represented by the coordinate. And I want to show you the attribute data, because in the last maybe in the first or second session you might hear about the spatial data or non-spatial data. So this is a spatial data with the coordinate. I'm going to show you the attribute data. You just right click this layer. So this is called layer. That is also you come to know from the previous sessions. So layer. This is same like point layer or polygon layer. But country is a polygon layer. So it's made of polygons. So country is a polygon layer. And if you want to see the attribute, right click that layer and look at the attribute table. Open attribute table. So you see here, so this is called attribute, information about the future. So this is missing in AutoCAD or MicroStations. You look at the huge amount of attribute informations are added here. So that is a very important about the yes, you can extract any kind of information. Now I want to select my country, our country, India. So you look at here, I have selected the country, but since it is in yellow color, you can look at here. Maybe I can change the color. For changing the color, I can double click that layer. Then you will get this window. So select the symbol fill. So there is a color here, yellow. You can change into, so maybe I love green. So make it green. Apply. And now the country India got selected from the all layers. We have selected only the layer India. Okay. Now I want to create a map for India. So I want only India. Now here India is a base map for me. So I am having many countries. I am preparing the base map from the existing data. For that, I am utilizing some data sets called country. From that country data set, I am selecting my country for the map making process. So for saving these data sets, so because I have selected the layer by using attribute table. So far what I have done, so just I have imported the layer and I have select my layer which I want to work with. So I have selected the layer by clicking this layer and open attribute table and look at the country name and I was selected. Okay, once it's done, now I want to save this. This is a base map. I want to save my base map. How to do that? Right click again. So there you can find there are option save as. So there is a option called save as. So I go there, save as. So you look at that, there are many formats are there. As far as format concerned, AutoCAD, GPF, there are many, but we are more familiar with ESRI save file format. Okay, and I want to select my folder where I want to save my file. This is same procedure. HTTP day 1. It's a day 2. As far as my concern, it's a day 1. So then I am giving the name for the file name. So you can look at other settings, but you don't need to change any settings. These are all the default settings. If you want, you can change it. But this is WGS84 World Geodetic System, and this is more than sufficient. We can take that as a source, coordinate reference system. And symbology export, if you want to have a symbology, you can use the symbology export. That means symbology is nothing but this one, the coloring, the style, line thickness, and this all comes under the category of symbology. And so this is a setting, basic setting. So with that, I'm satisfied with that. So I'm giving OK here. Now what happened? Okay, this is, so all layer got selected, not only India actually. So this is how you have to select a layer, and you can work with that layer actually. Okay. Now, as I said earlier, I am going to work with India layer. So already have that in my map, so I can use that. Now, if you look at that, so this is my layer, Indian layer. So I can work with this data as a base map. This is how to take our layer from the existing data. Okay. And now I will show you how to bring the web map, web future services. So for that, so we'll use that data sets for our work. Go to add layer, and if you look at that, there is a layer called add WFS layer, add web future layer. And already I had some information from the net. I will take that one as information, because I have collected this information from the net. So I have tried to identify the layer. I'm trying to identify the layer from the net for web future service and web map services. And I'm going to use this services, existing services. Like you look at that, there is a service for web map service, and there is a service for web future service. So this is somewhere from US actually. I'm using this one. So here you can give them as a new. So this web future service, as I said, this is globally available in the web-based system. So we are utilizing the data from web future service produced by the USA for their own purpose, but they have published it for the public. So now I'm going to create a new connection for that, add W future service new, and give some name for that. Again, any name, WFS 1. Sometimes if you give the like command name here, that will not work. So we can give USA and copy the URL. Okay. And other thing is optional. So just leave it. And you can connect it now. Give the connect. You see there are many layers got added here. So many layers. So this one we have collected from the net only. We have collected from the web future service. We have collected. So this is a web-based layers. They publish the data in the web-based system. So anyone can access this information. So now I am adding the country again here, country borders. Add. It takes some time because it is accessing the data from the server. So there is a server, and the server, we are giving the request to the servers, and the requests are requests are and went through the system. I mean through the URL, and our request is converted as a image or converted as a future service. So if you use webmap service, you will receive the raster information. If you use a web future service, you are getting the vector data. So what is exactly happening? So you are giving the request to the system. The request is sent to the like client server, request from client server to the server, and request coming back as a output. So you can visualize here their attribute table. So again, there are many country here. I'm looking for India. So this is different aspect how you get the our data, how you get the data from the web future services. So there are two ways we can use your own data from topo sheets or from existing aerial photographs or from the satellite images. You can create your own base map by digitization, by using digitization software. You can bring your satellite or topo sheet for tracing your base map. Otherwise, you can bring them from the web future service. That means bring it from the sources available existing available in different data sources. So this is one way actually. And since I want to create a map for particular area, I'll bring the data already have it. So same way. So now I'm going to create a map for Chennai city. So already have the data sets for that. This looks small because we added many layers. This is part of Chennai city. So, but this is not exactly Chennai. This is part of Chennai area. And we have used this data for identifying the urban heat island. And you can justify that whether this is Chennai or not by using like open layer plugin. So now I'm going to bring the like aerial map. So raster data, so that if you incorporate the raster data with this data, you can come to know whether this is a correct location, because by seeing this structure, by seeing this map, we cannot say this is Chennai. But if you incorporate the raster data with this, so there is a open layer called Bing Maps. So you bring the Bing aerial. Okay. So this takes some time. So this is, we are working with the, so this is aerial photographs from Bing open layers. As I said, now we have an idea. One is Web Future Service. We can bring the data from the other services, other data sources, and open layers as a raster. So there are many ways we can bring our own data. We can create a data from here. Okay, I want to create the water body, or I want to create the coastline. And if you bring the Bing map, or if you bring the Google map, you can create your own data sets. In the case of ArcGIS, what will happen? You have to buy a data, or you have to get a data from Google Map. You have to download the data by using SAS Planet, and you have to bring, you have to export them as a GeoTIFF and bring them into ArcGIS for digitizing or tracing it. Or you can buy a data from NRSA, National Remote Sensing Center, or USGS for open source. You can bring them into digitize. But advantage of QGIS, you can bring the data directly for digitizing some. For example, I want to delineate all the water bodies present in the Chennai cities. In that case, instead of downloading the data from other data source, I can work directly with the help of open layer plugin. So that is the advantage of using that. And now, if you look at that, of course, those who are in Chennai, they can identify whether it is a Chennai area or not. They can identify from the coastal area there. So due to the net connection, this is very slow. And now I can change the symbol. I can make them as a transparent. So I'm changing the color. This one. Fill, I make it no fill, transparent. And color is red. I change the border width. So this one you will be learning from the day after tomorrow session. Okay. So this is how you extract your layer. You see here. Okay, so it is you see here. So this one you can utilize this for field verifications. For example, I am going for supervised classifications for classifying land use data, or classifying geomorphology or geological data. Of course, geology data we cannot work with this one. At least for land use changes, you can use them as a deriving the field data. So of course, you're supposed to carry the spectroradiometer, but at least you can take as information to extract the spectral information to collect the field data. Using this field data, we can go for training sites, developing the training sites for the further classifications. This is without going to the field, there is an option in QGIS to work with the raster data or work with the Web Future Service. That's what I want to tell you clearly. And now I will turn off all the. Now I will prepare the map for this one. Okay. So I'll go here. Project, as I said earlier, for bringing the layout, new print composer. So this is for bringing the layout, new print composers. And you can give the name, or you can give OK now. So now you got the layout window that is called composer. And layout. So we are going to add the map in the layout. So add map. You will have the track window. You just track it, and so maybe we can zoom out that a little bit. So okay, at least you will have. So this is how you can bring the area of interest to the layout. How to bring the layout area of interest to the layout? You just go to layout, add map, and track it. So where you want to have a map, that will come directly. Okay. Then after that, what are the other information we can add with this map? When you talk about the map should have the labels. Okay, you can add the label. That means title of that. So here you can add your Chennai, any name for that. And you can change your size, font size, and there is a font here. You can change it here. You can change the color. Okay. Then what is next? Layout. We have added the label and scale bar. Add scale bar. So you just track that. So based on your distance, you will get a scale bar here, and add legend. So legend, as far as legend concerns, so we have only the boundary, but we have what are the informations are in the layer, that all come into the here. So you just track it here. But we don't need this layer because this is not belongs to our layer. For example, country. So we can remove that layer. You can remove this layer from our okay. Now you see only the boundary legend. And what next? Maybe a north arrow. Add arrow. This is nothing but the north arrow. And you can change the line style and okay. This is sometime making you to an eye. Okay. So you see whatever you have added, this is only legend, scale bar, and arrow. Is anything needs to add? Any idea? We can add the grid. Let us see whether grid is there or not. Any grid? If you look at here, item properties, there is a grid. So grid is nothing but the coordinate description. So you have your coordinates with the coordinates. So go to grids here. Add, there is a green, add a new grid. So you will get the lat long in the grid positions. grid 1 and give the interval for that. Interval in the sense like latitude, longitude interval in x direction as well as y directions. I give some number 2.5 or some number. Make it change it to you can change them into geographical coordinate system. I think that can be changed here itself. Okay, this is in the projected coordinate system since they are measured in area and volumes. Sorry, area and distances. They have it in projected coordinate system. So same way you can add, if it projected, you can include here huge number. I'm adding 1000 since it is in the projected coordinate system. You can add as per as your map. So the even 1000 is very small. So that's why there are many grids. So you can make it 10,000 even. This is a trial and error. As per as your requirement, you can change it. And finally, you will get a, you look at that, now the size has been reduced. And this is how to prepare the layout, map layout with the grid system. And if you have the data in geographical coordinate system, you can bring them in a geographical coordinate system. Once it's done in a clear way, then you can go with the so there are many options are there, position and size. You can change them, and background you can change background color. But some cases, what is the problem with GIS? You don't have the background color. That's what I feel. But other options are there. Background color, raw coordinates. So here you can bring your coordinates here. Look at here. You can see the coordinate here. In subdecimal, you can bring it into degree, minute, second. And but this is, yes, some values are there, but this is in a projected coordinate system. Let me see. So after taking the printout or after exporting this data, we'll come to know what is this. But since it is a degree, minute, second, we'll get the data in degree, minute, second. I left outside frame and make it vertical ascending. So now it got changed here, vertical ascending. If you keep horizontal, so there is a different case here, but this is coming out of the grid, so it will not work. So just make it vertical ascending. And yeah, this is somewhat good. And right hand side, outside frame, that is good. Horizontal, again vertical ascending. So you see here, it got changed. And top, so all, and okay, outside frame, that is good. And horizontal also good. And bottom, you see here, it is coming down. So this is how you have to change your final output. If you want to do undo, you just use this one. So this will go for undo option. So once you prepare in such a way, then you can go to Composer, export as a PDF. And this is saying it cannot be printed as a vectors. So it can print as a raster. Okay. And now it is we are having them as a PDF file. It can be any output format, maybe JPEG file, but generally for taking the printout, we used to have a PDF format. Still it is loading. It is taking time to load the data. Of course, if you spend time very precisely, you will get a nice output. But here there is some issue in the coordinate number because this is in the projector coordinate system. So we're supposed to have them in a projector coordinate system, not decimal degree minutes. So as far as if you keep them as a mapping units, your output will come in a mapping unit. That means that there is a number. It's a huge number that is in the projector coordinate system. And this is how you can prepare your own map with the help of QGIS. And there are many things can be done in the case of layout, but you can add your own images. Some cases you can add the images. You can bring the images. If you look at that, you can bring your like attribute table. You can bring it. For example, if you want to final output with attribute table, some cases. So thematic layer, sometime what we'll do, we'll prepare the thematic layer. For example, groundwater potential zone, high groundwater potential zone. That case, you will add the like low, moderate, medium. So in that case, you can bring the attribute table here, and you can bring the images. Suppose you want to add some field verification information, so you can add them as HTML file, and you can sometimes you can have the URL link also, and so whatever the information can be added, it is can be added here in the layout. But the thing is, the final layout should be very aesthetic for the presentations and should not have a very congested one in such a way that we need to prepare our final output actually. So this is how we have to prepare our final mapping by help of Composer or layout present in the QGIS. So you have to add the different layers and different annotations and different symbols is required for completing your map layout. So that what are the mandatories required you have to add in the layout with the grid system so that your map looks good actually. And not only that, you can change the layout format like styling, vector styling and raster styling. But here we are not following the vector styling here. The next 7th session, actually day after tomorrow, you will have the vector styling. So there you will come to know how we can do the styling actually. So this is a basic idea. Of course, this can be done after you prepare the map. So initially we have started with map making. So without having any data sets, in the upcoming session, you will be getting the classes related to how to prepare your own map. So after georeferencing, your scan map, or after georeferencing your aerial photographs, you can create your own map, like your own base map or your own thematic map. So you supposed to create your layout for your thematic map or your base map. So now I have shown how the data can be extracted from the services, whether web future services, or it is from your own data sets, how you can prepare the map layout with the help of QGIS. So this is all about map making by using QGIS. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me now, actually, because we have started. That is a basic one. So we have fulfilled our criteria, map making. So what we have done, so data can be used from the services and from the our own data sets, and how to bring them into layout, and how to incorporate legend, symbols, and labels, and arrow and grid system into this layout, and for making the final map layout. So this is what we have understood from this session, actually. If you have, I think by this I have completed 30 minutes before, but this is only very less contents are added. So as per the map making constants, the content is very less. So this is a basic idea I had given for you by using QGIS. If you have any doubt, you can ask me the question. Then I will proceed for further for your question. Thank you all.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
In theor
Yeah, please.
in theoretical part, how to interlink with
Yeah.
QGIS with OF. Please repeat again. How to interlink with QGIS and OF.
Web future service. Yeah. Okay.
How
Okay.
to
So
interlink with
how to connect with
OF
the web
with
future service?
mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Go to layer. Go to layer. Okay. So there is a tool called add layer. Okay. Go to add layer, and there are many options. We can add a vector layer. There is a tool called add WAFS layer, web future service layer. Okay. Use this one, and this link, I mean the URL. This URL I have collected from the net. If you can search for the web future services, and you will get many link. I have selected this one from the net. Maybe I will show you the source also. So this is a source. I just click that source. This supposed to have the web future service link, and new. Just put new. Okay, new, and give any name. Already get USA. You give USA1 and paste your URL. Paste. Okay, and this is a URL I got collected from the website only. This is not, I didn't create this one. I got collected from the net. So you can, if you Google it in Google, that you identify different web services from Google developed by European or US. for different applications. So just I Google it and go okay. Okay. Then connect. So these are the layers. So you see here, go coastline, add. So web feature services can be added with the available URL link. So this is a coastal line now. We got this from the web feature service. This can be possible with the web map service also. So they same procedure, layer, add layer, and there is called web map
Hello.
service, WMS.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please tell.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, sir. Please tell me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir. Tell me, sir. Hello. Hello, sir.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Sir, repeat the layout, the map
Okay. Map layout.
layout. Oh,
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So, for example, take this one. Anyone of that? Maybe Australia or somewhere, whatever maybe. Okay. So I want to create a layout for this one. Okay. And select this area and go to project. Okay.
select.
There, new print composer. Select. So you just zoom in your area you want to create your layout. Just to zoom in that and go to project. Okay, sir.
Go
And
to
new print composer. New print composer.
new print.
And you, if you want to give a name, composer. It's here in the project. In the project, there is a tool called new print composer or control P.
And control
New
P.
print composer or control. Yeah, control P.
Control P.
And if you want, you can give the name. Yeah, then give OK. And you will get the window like this, composer. So composer is nothing but the layout. Once it's done, once if you get it, and go to layout, add map.
Add map.
Layout, add map. Yeah. Then you just track your window where you want to have your layout. Track your window, and that's it. If you get this one, so your features will come here actually. Suppose if you are having only your layer, your base map, only your base map will come here. Since there are many layers, the many layers are visualized here, and you get only your base map here. Then when it's done, then you can go for add legend and same concept. Just track your arrow where you want to have your legend, and you got your legend there.
Legend.
Then layout, add. Sir, can you follow, sir? It is easy for you to follow.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Then add scale bar the same way. Track your and you got your scale bar and layout. Go again and arrow. This is a north arrow. Just put north arrow and it's the same way. Whatever you want, you can add. And legend, scale bar, label. Okay, give the name. Wherever you want name, you can give the name. Like
Like Australia. Label.
And you can change a color here, any color, and so position and rotation frame. I go to grid again. So before that, you have to add the grid here. For bringing the grid there. And use some mapping units here, some offset interval for making grid. If it is degree minutes second, that is a different case. If you select here, this window will come. You have to select here inside. Inside, you will get the window. And draw coordinates. So there is a coordinate, but it is not clear. So change the offset. Maybe you can reduce it here. This is based on your coordinate system actually. So this is how you can create your layout selection. So you can add whatever information you want. You can create your information based on your requirement. So there is a item properties. If you click this one, you will get all this information. Whatever the information you want to add, you can add it based on your requirement. So if you have the geographical coordinate system, your output come in geographical coordinate system. If you have the projected coordinate system, you will grid will come in the projected coordinate system. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is there any question?
Okay. Audience, if you have any queries, you may raise now. Participants, if you have any queries, you may raise now.
Yeah, I have seen some query URL. How to find out URL link from the chat box? URL link, just Google it. Because most of the developed countries, they have their own web services. They publish the data in web-based system. And developing countries, they are preparing it. But even as far as India concerns, sometime they will not make it for public. So the data link I have selected is from the US-based system, USA data services. So only the developed countries, they are having their services. They are made it for public. And for developing countries, I don't know whether they were prepared and they have the web feature services, and they have started to publish their data in the web-based system or WebGIS. How can take add attribute tables, sir? Okay, so attribute tables. So if you click the layer, for example, you added the layer and right click the layer and open attribute table. So this is the attribute table. You look at that attribute table, their area, their perimeter, and coastline, and these are the information can be done by using right click your layer, and there is a option called open attribute table. And so this is a question for how can take add attribute table. So you can add the attribute table, you can by editing the attribute table, and so there is a option in it. Right click, open attribute table. So there are so you can start to edit the attribute table actually. So you can delete and open field calculator, and so you can make any query name here in the attribute table, and also you can edit and delete the layer also. So by right clicking the layer, and you can find your attribute table. And what else from the question? Can you provide the save file for the world map for us to practice? Okay, so this can be given. I can give it to the organizer to share it with you. That is okay. How to build own plugin QGIS? So you can build your own plugin by using programming. You can develop your own program by using Python or whatever the mode it is utilized in QGIS. In ArcGIS, you can develop by Arc object, but here you can utilize Arc, like Python, and by using Python, you can develop your own programming and coding to perform certain tasks, and then it can be converted as a exe file to bring them into QGIS actually.
Sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please tell me, sir.
Your lectures is very good, sir. But I say to you say
Okay, sir.
you send the GIS methodically and use and of the computer. Please summary send the YouTube.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir. Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
The previous day or 2 days matter, please send the YouTube or link. Help to us, sir.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir,
Yeah, please me.
or participants, if you have any queries, you may raise now.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Please tell me.
Sir, how we
Yes, sir. Yes.
how we bring out any data from QGIS? find out any
Bring out?
data and
You mean to say
yeah, find out.
find out the data? Yeah, that.
Am I audible,
For
sir?
example, yeah, it is audible. Actually, in QGIS website, you can have your practicing data. For example, I can share you the link now, right now, where you can. 1 second.
Okay, sir.
Just to Google it, and anyway, I will share it now. I will share it now, where you can have your data sets. That is a well data, so you can extract your own data from that. Okay, I sent the link now. Can you see the link? I have sent the link now.
Okay, sir. This one's the link from the where we have to find out the
Yeah,
map.
yeah, exactly. You can find out the save file, not map directly. You can find out the save file. Usri save file. You can find out the
Okay,
save
sir.
file
Okay.
directly from that, and you can work with that. That is a val data, so
Mm.
you can work with that directly from that data sets.
Okay, sir. One more questions and one more confusion also. When you
Okay.
have to put out the link, URL link. So where we have to find out the URL link? Which one of the
Yeah, you are.
when you?
Yeah, as I said,
Yes, sir.
tell me. Yeah, URL. Yeah, as far as URL link concerned, as I said earlier, this is only developed countries. They have their data in web-based systems, so they have their own web-based
Okay, sir.
services, web feature service or web services to access for the public. But developing countries, the country which is not having not that development in the area of remote sensing, they don't have their own database in the WebJS. So especially I have downloaded this, I have captured this web feature service link from USA based geological map or something. So just by Google, I
Okay,
got
sir.
this one. By Google, you can get this URL. So you have to know whether this is correct URL, because if the URL is not correct, you cannot connect. So what it is saying, the URL is connecting to the server. So they have the server. Since it is connected worldwide by using web-based system, so we are accessing that data by web-based system through URL provided by the concerned organization.
Okay, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, am
Good
I
afternoon,
audible?
good afternoon, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, I just want to ask,
Yes,
suppose
sir, it is clear, sir. Tell me.
we are doing a survey in a very localized area and we have some ground variables
Okay, sir.
based on which we want to
Okay,
create a
sir.
map. So our attribute tables are
Okay.
collected on hand on field. And now based on those variables, we want to create a map.
Handled.
So suppose soil
Okay,
moisture
sir.
and
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, sir.
so then how
So
the
do you bring the GPS? Yeah, okay. Do you bring the GPS coordinate for that soil moisture you collected from the field?
yes, sir.
What kind of okay, do you have the GPS? Okay, that is good. So what you can do, you can take the GPS coordinates and for example location 1, okay, location 1, you enter your latitude and longitude, okay, then your attribute informations, maybe soil moisture good, or you can add soil characteristics, whatever you want you can add for that. And you can enter this all information in Excel or text file. Excel or text file. Once this information added into Excel or text, so there is an option in QGIS like import a layer in CSV. I mean Excel file or text file we can import in QGIS. By once you import the data, you can display the data based on locations like XY informations. Then it visualizes a map. Then you can convert them into, you can export them as a save file, or you can convert them into S3 data format. So whatever the coordinates you collected from the field, that needs to be entered into text file or CSV file or Excel file, that can be imported into QGIS and display them as a coordinate. Once you display them as a coordinate, that data will be brought into QGIS based on their location to feed into the Excel or text file. Then finally you can convert them into save file. So you can bring the coordinates in the Excel and we can convert them into save file. So this is what I'm going to take for tomorrow class.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other queries? Participants, any other queries? Sir?
Hello?
Sir, shall we
Yes,
wind up
yes,
the
ma'am,
session?
sure. Yeah, sure.
Participants, any other queries? Okay. Give thanks for a little and you will find a lot. Thank you expresses extreme gratitude, humility, and understanding. I would like to take this opportunity to express my deep gratitude to the guest speaker, Dr. S. Karupasamy sir, who spared time from his busy schedule to grace today's session. Thank you so much, sir, for your thought-provoking and interesting presentation. Finally, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the participants for your active participation. I hope you all find this session fruitful and beneficial for the future venture. Thank you one and all for your cordial cooperation. Looking forward on your tomorrow's sessions. Have a nice day. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you
Sir.
very much. Thank you very much.
Participants, the feedback link is available in your chat box. Please submit it.